gonna play this out all the way through. I'm working with the phone. I reported on this a couple years ago, actually, about this lady. So I feel the need to report on it, that they have caught up with her. And, well, it is what it is. I'm going to let her speak, and I might come in between, and we'll see how it goes.
833, State of Indiana versus DeJohn Anderson. Ms. Anderson, for the record, would you state your full name, please?
Yes, I am Princess Califia Hatan Tupac Bey II, representing the entity DeJohn Anderson.
You're known as DeJohn Anderson?
I'm representing the entity as DeJohn Anderson.
Your date of birth?
My date of birth is February 2nd, 1961.
That would make you how old?
That would make me 63 years old.
And the last 4 digits, your social security number?
I do not have a social security number. I have a declaration of nationality underneath the Ouachita Moors of the Indigenous People of the United Nations, Chapter 21593.
What's your address?
My address is
Do you have a good contact telephone number?
I don't know my contact number by heart. I believe it's.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, including alcohol, today?
No, I'm not.
You read and understand the English language?
Yes, I do.
If I say something you don't understand, will you let me know?
I will most definitely will.
Ms. Anderson. Officer Busick, who's investigated this, looked for you for the past 2 years, and Prosecutor Hunt have charged you with 3 counts of criminal conduct. Count 1 is murder as a felony. Would indicate that between April the 10th, 2022 and April the 16th, 2022 in Washington County, State of Indiana, you did knowingly or intentionally kill another human being, that being child victim number 1. Contrary to the form of the statute, such case is made and provided by Indiana Code 35-42-1-1, parentheses 1, and against the peace and dignity of the state of Indiana. Count 2. Neglect of the dependent resulting in death as a level 1 felony would indicate between December the 1st, 2021 and April the 16th, 2022 in Washington County, State of Indiana, you being at least 18 years of age and having the care of child victim 1, a dependent, less than 14 years of age, did knowingly place said dependent in a situation that endangered the dependent's life or health and which resulted in the death of child victim number 1. Count 3, obstruction of justice as a level 6 felony, would indicate that between April the 10th, 2022 and April the 16th, 2022 in Washington County, State of Indiana, you did alter, damage, or remove a record, document, or thing with the intent to prevent said item from being produced or used as evidence in a legal proceeding or an administrative or criminal investigation, contrary to the form of the statutes made and such case provided. The murder, a felony, has a range of imprisonment from 45 years to 65 years with the advisory sentence being 55 years and up to a $10,000 fine. The level 1 felony neglect of a dependent resulting in death has a range of imprisonment from 20 years to 40 years with the advisory sentence being 30 years and up to a $10,000 fine. And the level 6 felony has a range of imprisonment of no time in jail if it's treated as a misdemeanor to 2.5 years at the Indiana Department of Corrections with the advisory sentence being 1 year and up to a $10,000 fine. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
I do understand.
Okay. And do you understand the potential penalties?
I do.
Do you intend to hire a lawyer, or or is someone likely to hire a lawyer for you?
I want to file a motion for self-representation.
You understand if you do that, you are required to conduct yourself as a lawyer to be able to board our potential jurors, to abide by the rules of evidence, to abide by the rules of procedure.
I do understand. I have a master's in history,
That doesn't give you a law degree, though.
but I do understand how to read procedures and understand the court procedures.
Right. Just because you represent yourself, that doesn't ensure yourself of a good lawyer, you know.
That's a personal opinion, but I understand.
Make your request in writing, okay?
I will, most definitely. Can you give me at least just like 5 days and I could get it to
I
you?
can certainly give you 5 days to do that. I think what my intention would be, let me ask you this. Can you afford a lawyer?
It's not that I can't afford a lawyer. It's that I want to do self-representation due to I understand the nature of my case. And I understand that this is my life on the line. And I do understand that there are things that involve my case as far as the evidence that I hold, which is Q classified evidence, which should be turned over to Judge Advocate General Courts immediately, if possible. Because my case involves other cases that are open currently with Judge Advocate General Courts, as well as federal investigations that are open.
Well, if the Judge Advocate General approaches us, we'll address it at that point in time.
Okay.
How about I appoint you standby counsel?
Oh, no, thank you.
No, thank you. All right. You make your written request. I need to advise you, you have a right to a speedy public trial by jury in this county. You have the right to face all witnesses against you, see your question and cross-examine those witnesses. You have the right to have witnesses brought into court to testify on your behalf, and at your request, the court will issue subpoenas requiring those individuals to come into court to testify on your behalf and bring evidence in. You have the right to have the state prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to remain silent. You cannot be required to give any testimony or make any statements against yourself to anyone. You do have the right to be heard in your own defense at any hearing or trial concerning the charges against you. Anything you say, however, may be used against you. Do you have any questions concerning your rights?
No, I do not.
Okay. Then I will set this matter for a pretrial conference on the 25th day of April at 9 a.m. A trial date of the 6th day of August of this year at 8:30 a.m. and an omnibus date of June the 15th. Do you have any questions at all?
No, I do not have any questions.
All right. You'll sign this reappearance slip. We'll discuss the issue of bond. Ms. Hunt, what's the state's position?
Yes, Your Honor. Given the gravity of this case, first of all, I would like for you just to take judicial notice of the probable cause affidavit that the state filed in support of these 3 charges, which resulted in the arrest warrant. I'd also like to bring to the judge's attention that it's almost a 2-year mark of officers locating this, at the time, unidentified little boy in the woods. So I would argue that the defendant has been a fugitive since that time. Her identification has been made. I think that raises any bond in a murder case to be something of the utmost importance and should be of an amount that should be very difficult, if not impractical, for her to be able to.
I object.
Feel she will be abscond from this court. She's never been from Indiana. She's not from Washington County, is my understanding. She was located in California. So on that reserve, I would leave that to the court. And if further motion is needed on the state's behalf, I will make that.
Thank you, Ms.
Can I make
Ms. Anderson, you just made an objection.
Yes.
State the basis of your objection.
The basis of my objection is the fact that I am not a fugitive. I have been under NSA surveillance for the past 8 months, and how can that qualify me as a fugitive on the run when I've also had a detail from Space Force that was following my every move when I contacted the Indiana State
Well,
to arrest
let me
me?
tell you, that is not a valid legal objection. If you want to represent yourself, you're going to have to learn the rules of evidence and the rules of procedure, because if you conduct yourself like this and make these types of objections, you have no chance in the world, lady.
Okay.
So, objection overruled. But I will let you make argument in regards to bond.
Okay. Well, thank you. So that's my argument is that I have been under surveillance by NSA for over 8 months. I also have a detail that follows me everywhere I go from Space Force military. I also contacted Indiana State. I think it was a federal marshal that I called to have my location tracked to pick me up. So there's no type of extent of me running where I need this astronomical bond on my charges.
Well, that's sort of interesting, because it's my understanding Officer Busick has been in touch with almost every one of those agencies, and they haven't been able to identify your location until recently. So I'm going to set your bond at no bond at this particular point in time. If Space Force comes forward and tells me that they're willing to monitor you, we'll take up the issue of bond at a later time.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll be off record at 1:44. You can, she's remanded to the custody of the Washington County Sheriff's Department.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Sam, let me see if I can give you the right one. Yeah, those are those. Oh, 1 second. Go back on. All right. Based on what I've just heard, I'm going to ask someone from the Public Defender Office to be assigned to represent Ms. Anderson. If she files a written request and demonstrates that she has the ability to understand and comprehend and represent herself, I may ask them to withdraw or no longer require their services, but I think it's appropriate that someone from the Public Defender Office be assigned at this particular point in time. If private counsel is hired, they can withdraw. We'll be off record.
Okay. As you can see, this is playing out. I'm definitely glad they caught up with her. That's for sure. Because she's been on the run for 2 years. You know, they found the suitcase in the woods or whatever. Some mushroom hunter or whatever found it. The suitcase with the body in it. The 5-year-old boy. And, you know, there's so much of that be going on. So much was going on at the time of mothers deleting, abandoning, whatever, you know, all different types of heinous things with their children, you know, and they're supposed to be the nurturing ones, but I beg to differ. I could go into all types of, it's more than speculation, you know. I could get into it. You know, you just figure that they're the ones, if you're carrying the child for this amount of time, you would think there has to be some type of bond, right? Because they carried it for that length of time. But yet, they could throw it in the trash, wrap it up, put it in a trash bag, put it in a dumpster, put it in whatever, you know, flush it down the toilet, throw it in the thing, in it, all types of things. So, no, not necessarily, but you would also still think that a lot of them would, just because. So even carrying it doesn't, and being a female and whatever, there's no guarantee. It's all types of different things and mental disorders and whatnot. But I don't know, none of this shit's no excuse, man. As crazy as this lady is, she ain't so crazy she didn't hide his body in a suitcase, dump it in the woods, to not be found and be on the run for 2 years. But she talking about some damn Space Force and NSA and surveillance, and she's the queen, mother, goddess, whatever, I guess, you know how that go. I will definitely be following the case, and I should be updating this as need be. I will put a link to the older video that I did, where it's informative because it's puts the pieces together. It was the case, the body, and just a mystery, and what they did to put it together and piece it together. It was work to find this woman. She really, in another time, that would have been that. She would have got away. 20 years ago, or however many years ago, she would have got away with it. They wouldn't have found her. So I give them their props with that. That's her. That's the one. So they got her. Good for them. And I like to really, these women that's bashing men, I really, I gotta calm, because they be making me mad, getting on my nerve, on a nerve or whatever. When this is the big picture. Whether it be a woman or a man, some man abusing a child or deleting a child or graping or, any kind of thing that's heinous. Nobody's behind that shit. And we should be coming together to put a stop to that from all sides. But things are just getting so divided. And I think, obviously somebody want it that way. And it's to their benefit for us to be so separated, divided in groups until we won. It's slice and dice until it's just one. All these ones. No groups can get along. It's the men against the women, the old against the young, the different particular generations, specifics, X, Y, Z's and shit, all against each other, and the men and the women, again, any kind of way you could slice it and dice it and make it a division, they doing it. Now we you know what I mean? And then it's the diaspora wars, the culture wars, the diaspora wars, the gender wars. Are you fucking man? Good Lord. How we got a chance? And we got these people out here doing this stuff to their own children, And then that's the ones that don't make it. The ones that make it is mentally toxic. And, so this is what I'm saying. So, we got to live in this world with people. We should be figuring, but they evidently toxic. Anybody that's just want to destroy the other side, something wrong with you. If you're not trying to, pointing out shit that's true is one thing. Going to all kind of extremes, trying to make things be a certain way is a whole nother thing. Something wrong with you, and you working for the system, part of the system that's trying to destroy us, whether it's directly or indirectly. You part of this thing here. Should be talking about this woman and all the rest of them and all the ones that's having all these abortions and things. You know why? These people are encouraging that type of behavior. So what are they really doing? They're telling them what they want to hear, and they're getting the little change off it. Man, is it worth it though? Wow. So at the end of the day, that's it. I guess that's the answer. That's all I gotta say on that. Just long enough, and I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do. I'll catch you on the rebound. I'm out.